Hey guys, welcome back. Um so welcome back guys. I do have a phone holder in the car, so I just pray that the Lord give my hand strength to hold to the end of the video. So I have a story time. You know me, I have a lot of stories, and I really love when the Lord reminds me of the stories to come and tell you, because I do know that it will be helpful for, if not some, at least one, because there's people who are actually going through this right now, or they went through this but they just don't know how to let go. And so I just want to share my experience, my story with toxic relationships. So you see the last video that I made right just now. I have to find a place to hold this camera because this phone is really solid. Right, so I believe I found a steady spot. So this is just a story time on the lot of failed relationships that I had, as well as toxic, terrible, and I want to talk on this because I know there are a lot of, I wouldn't just say for females, for males as well, there are a lot of people have desires in their heart to get married, stuff, and obviously you're not just going to marry the person you meet them today and then tomorrow you would want to court with them a bit, get to know them, and stuff like that. So I know there's a lot of people who are going through this or probably went through this as well. So yeah, story time. So I went through a lot of failed relationships, and I always had a desire in my heart to really spend life with one person, do life with one person, etc. And for some strange reason, that wasn't happening. Now, if you guys didn't, you could go back and watch the last video I have that was posted why I was addicted to sex, and that will explain why right now the relationships used to fail. Okay, so I really realized that what I really desired was to settle with someone, the love of my life, etc., etc. But for some strange reason, the relationship never used to go past 9 months. I don't know why. 9 months to a year, that was always the end of the relationship that I was in. I don't know why. Well, of course I know why now, but back in that time I didn't know why. So yeah, and the relationships, all of them used to start off the same way. Really sweet, genuine, and all of a sudden, guys, at that time, like I said, I didn't know, the person used to just literally flip. Like, they would go from being the sweetest person to a complete idiot. Like, say horrible things, act mean, do things that is really weird, things that not a normal person would do. And it always used to result back to me questioning my worth, because like, how can you go from really liking a person, wanting to spend your life with a person, planning stuff together, and then it just died? And like I say, not even 3 years, not even 5 years, like within, so let's just say it would end in 1 year for the latest, because most of them used to end like actually 9 months. I don't know why, right? By the 6th month, that's when the arguments start, and the arguments didn't make no sense. Like, the arguments was just the pettiest thing, and they would turn into such big things, and also what used to happen a lot was a lot of manipulation, where the person would do something to me or say something, and I would just express how I feel, and not in a disrespectful way, not in a way that would really make someone feel a type of way. It was really respectful, and they would turn the reason why I say in they is because this was the relationships that I went through. I just can't explain all the relationship in this video, of course, but when you hear me say they, it's like other relationships, and I'm telling you how there was the same pattern with the people that I dated before. So they used to do things that was really questionable, and I would express my feelings based on it. And it's like, it's almost like I'm saying I don't like something, and then the person will be like, how dare you say that you don't like this? Like, you're supposed to take this. Like, you are not allowed to express how you feel, you know? You're not allowed to express how you feel. I'm so sorry I got distracted, you know, but yeah. So I was never allowed to express, I mean, I went, well, yes, I was never allowed to express how I feel, because to them it was like, how dare you? Like, this is what you're supposed to take. But I never really allowed that to stop me from expressing how I feel. And eventually, the relationship would just grow really, really cold. And sometimes nobody would say they end the relationship, and we would just stop talking, and the relationship end just like that. And after probably like the third relationship, I realized that it had a pattern of where the relationship would end within 9 to 12 months. And I just adapted to that, and I was just like, I'm not going to put in my all no more into dating anymore, because it's not going to last anyways. So I'm not going to be nice, I'm not going to be kind and stuff like that. It's just like, however it is, it's going to be, you know. And then that also made me become very toxic, because like I said, dealing with people who are very manipulative and stuff literally affects you as a person. And that is what it did to me, where I literally started getting toxic myself. Like, it was me trying to protect myself in a way, acting tough and acting like I'm not loving and stuff like that. So I never really showed much compassion and care and all those good stuff, you know. So it really turned me out to be really, at a point in time, a terrible person. And like I said, if y'all didn't see the video, watch it back, because it all started when I experienced that spiritual encounter that made me start craving sex out of nowhere. And it wasn't even pleasurable. It was to the point where it just needs to happen, because it, like, the spirit was feeding on the sexual activity that was taking place. So it was never to have pleasure with it, but it was more so to feed that spirit that was in operation at that time, you know. So because of that, that is why I had a lot of terrible relationships. I have one more story to share that I could kind of sneak in a bit. There was this time, my gosh, that was the worst advice I could have taken. Wow. So there was this time a family member took me to a so-called church that they were going to, but I didn't know like who they believed in, if it's the Lord or if it's like other crazy denominations that they have out here, you know. So I was really young at that time. I probably was like 18. No, I probably wasn't 20. Probably I was, yeah, at that age. And I was like, okay, I'll go to church with you, you know. And when I walked into the church, it had altars, demonic altars. It was a spiritual church, you know, a spiritual Baptist church, and they was messing with a lot of witchcraft and stuff in the church. But I was so young, I couldn't leave. I really wanted to leave, but I couldn't because um I had no way of reaching back home, and at the time I had no money, so I really had to stay. And I could never forget that they call the lady the mother of the church, and she told me to, well, the person who I went with took me to her. I was really upset because I was like, I don't want to deal with this, like, but I went anyways, again, because I was really young. And the mother of the church told me to put out my hand, and she held my hand. Of course, she looked nice. And she was like, there's this guy that you are currently dating, and this guy is going to treat you so nice, and he, all type of soothing words, the things that I really wanted to experience in my life is what she was saying. This is how the enemy is so tricky. And she told me that the person who I was dating at that time. So when I heard that like opened back up that desire again to be treated like that and to have a happily ever ending at that time, so I really took it. And guess what? The person who she said will treat me nice and thing turned out to be a complete idiot. The person was so horrible to me. It's like, it really, really made me question my words at that time. Like, because that person, I had actually gotten engaged to that person, and that person, like, listen, praise the Lord that the Lord still had his hands on my life at that time, because I felt like I could have just melted away, because the manipulation, the lies, and the horrible words and stuff was so tough to take, especially at that young age again. And I think what really broke my heart was the fact that that is what the woman said, that he will be so nice to me, and this is the guy, not knowing that the enemy was using that guy so strong. That guy didn't even believe in the Lord, nothing like that. So the enemy just literally lied to me to destroy me more and make me to become even more worse, to put me in a worse state now. Because if that was told to me and then I felt good, and then to see the person act completely opposite, obviously that made me become even more worse, because I was like, there's no hope for me, there's no way that I will actually find this person. But like I said, the desire of me finding somebody was actually a desire that the Lord placed in me, because the Lord had my husband for me. It's just that the enemy was really manipulating and poisoning all of that, just because he knew. So it's not that I came up with that desire on my own, because I was really young and I was desiring a husband, and I had no idea why I was desiring a husband, because it wasn't like I used to just sit down and be like, oh, I want a husband. No, it was like a really, really strong desire to be married, and I was like, why am I having these desires? But anyhow, right? So that happened. The person was terrible. Like, I can't even begin to remember some of the stuff the person said to me. Otherwise, I would have told you all, because, I mean, if I could come on here and speak about that terrible relationship, it don't make sense for me to hide what was said, because I know there are a lot of people in terrible relationships, and I don't know, like, the amount of mean, evil things I said to you all, it's really, listen, So, yeah, so that is my story times on why I went through bad relationships, because it was a spiritual encounter. So sometimes when you're going through these things, it's not that you're not worthy, it's not that you're not worth it, it's not that anything is wrong with you, it's just simply because of the enemy just trying to destroy you. And one of the easiest way that the enemy does destroy women, which is really sad, but I have to say it, is through that same desire that we have to be married one day. And he makes us, tempts us to fornicate, and when we fornicate, we open up his soul to demonic spirits, then we don't get deliverance, then we move on to our next relationship, collect some more demons from that person. And one thing that the enemy does is that, I don't know if you all ever experienced this, it's like you date one person and then date another person, and it's the same complete different, it's the same behavior pattern. It's just different persons, but the same behavior pattern. That's just because it's the same spirit in operation, and the enemy love to lead us to those type of relationships so that he could complete what he wants to do with us, right? And then as well as sometimes we trauma bond, where we would just be meeting people who went through the same stuff as us and start dating them, and we think that okay, we're gonna come out winning, and then it's a complete disaster, because all the enemy is trying to do is just destroy us to the point where we are not able to pick back up ourselves, which we can't. We need Jesus for it. That's why you would see a lot of people committing suicide because of these relationships, because they are unsaved, and at that time they didn't really had anyone around them to really pray for their souls, you know. So yeah, I just decided to come on here today to share that story. And I do really pray that whoever is watching this, if you are currently going through this, I really pray that you turn your heart to the Lord Jesus, and it's only him that can really love you. Like, that desire to be loved by your husband is a beautiful thing. However, the best love is from the Lord, and the love that your husband or your wife gives you it literally comes from the Lord. So why not go for the love from the source himself, and then desire anything after that? You know, if you desire a wife, if you desire a husband that is going to treat you well, go to the Lord first, because you need to experience his love to even know how to be loved. Because there's a lot of other people too as well don't know what love really looks like, so they just go into relationships and take whatever is given, and they think that that is love. You know, love is Jesus. Jesus is love. Like, best love you could ever find. And as long as you receive his love and receive what he did for you on the cross, and you build that relationship with him, and you receive that love from him, then ask him for that husband or that wife, you know. And then when that wife or husband come, you will know if this is somebody from the enemy or somebody from the Lord, because you will see the fruits of that person. A person who is of the Lord won't lead you into fornication. They won't say manipulative things to you. They won't hurt you. I mean, well, because people aren't perfect, things could happen, but it don't mean that they are from the enemy. But I'm just saying, you would know what patterns to look for in a person because you know Jesus. But if you don't know Jesus, you would just be hoping that this is the one, and you don't want to end up, because sometimes going through so much relationships could really shut you down or have you so traumatized that when the Lord really brings the person for you, you don't even know how to accept them. You don't know how to love them because you're so broken up from the past relationships before. So don't put yourself through that. Just allow the Lord to love you and lead you. And if it means that when you have that relationship with the Lord say, listen, wait 5 years till I find you that wife or husband, then wait that 5 years, because sometimes healing does not always take place overnight, especially how long you would have been in that situation for. Because my God, when someone is really damaged, they are really damaged, and it's kind of hard to, you know, get over that. But the Lord is faithful. He will see you through it. He is patient, you know. So yeah, I really pray that this meets you on a day like this, and I pray that whoever is going through this, that the Lord, that you encounter the Lord today, and that you feel some sort of his love today, and that you take that opportunity to grab it and run with it for the rest of your life. Jesus is Lord forever. Like, my God, the things that I went through, me creating this video today, I never saw this coming. I never think that I would have been in a situation to talk about my past and even live in the prophecy that the Lord have for me. Because today, now I am married, but I probably would have been married way before if I was not in sin. But it happened, but the Lord plan did prevail. I'm still married, you know, but I just went through a lot before I got married. So yeah, God bless you guys, and the comment section is always open. Peace out. Bye.